Hello everyone, my name is Cheryl Anderson and I'm a director here at Redstone Government Consulting. I mostly deal with systems work and cost accounting standards. Today we're going to discuss how you determine your company's status under cost accounting standards, better known as CAS. The first thing to address is that there's no such thing as a CAS covered company. There are only companies with CAS covered contracts or subcontracts. And I'm not going to say contracts and subcontracts because all the way through this because it applies equally to both. CAS regulations are found in FAR 30 and FAR 99, also known as 48 CFR Chapter 99. In general, CAS relates to how your company accounts for cost on federal government contracts, more specifically negotiated contracts with the federal government. However, there are several exemptions. The most common exemption is if the contract is with a small business. If you are a small business, you need look no further. You have no CAS-covered contracts. There are two other signs that would indicate that you have no CAS-covered contracts. If all the company's contracts were awarded under FAR Part 12, acquisition of commercial items, or under FAR Part 14, sealed bidding, the company would not have CAS-covered contracts. However, in most cases, a company must look at each individual contract to determine which ones are exempt from CAS. The first thing to look at is if a contract meets one of the following exemptions: sealed bid contracts, contracts for commercial items, contracts where the price is set by law or regulation, contracts with foreign governments, or firm fixed price contracts awarded on adequate price competition without submission of certified cost or pricing data. Once you have narrowed down your universe of possible CAS-covered contracts by excluding exempt contracts, the next consideration is the dollar value of the contract. This is the dollar value shown on your SF-33, Solicitation, Offer, and Award, in Section 20. This is very important because some contracts, especially indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity, IDIQ contracts, vary widely in what they put in that block. Some contracts show a value of 0 and others show the entire possible value. You may get a $100 million IDIQ contract that you are only guaranteed $1 million worth of work. But the contract would still be CAS covered because the total value is $100 million. You are looking for the first $7.5 million trigger contract that you were awarded that didn't fall under an exemption. That is the date you received your first CAS-covered contract and should have started complying with 4 basic standards that make up modified CAS coverage. The 4 basic standards are identified as CAS 401, consistency in estimating, accumulating, and reporting costs; CAS 402, consistency in allocating costs incurred for the same purpose; CAS 405, accounting for unallowable costs; and CAS 406, cost accounting period. Once you have that trigger contract, all contracts over the Truth in Negotiations Act threshold, which is currently $2 million, will be covered by CAS, at least as long as you have a CAS-covered contract. Let's look at an example. This company graduated from Small Business Program on December 20th, 2019. And here's a graph of the contracts it was awarded in the next 2 years. Contract A was awarded on January 1st of 2020 and ended December 15th of 21. This one is not a CAS-covered contract because it was under the $7.5 million trigger. Contract B is the first CAS-covered contract because it is over the trigger. Contract C is CAS-covered because it is over the TINA threshold and the company has a CAS-covered contract. Contract D is also a CAS-covered contract for the same reasons. It doesn't matter that the only CAS-covered contract that existed when it was awarded was $2.5 million. It is still CAS covered. Finally, Contract E is not CAS covered. It is under the $7.5 million trigger, and the company finished its prior CAS contracts prior to its award. The reason people talk about CAS-covered contractors is that once you become subject to modified CAS coverage, your company must estimate, accumulate, and report costs in the same manner throughout the company. So it feels like the whole company is subject to CAS. As long as you remain under modified CAS coverage, whether a specific contract is CAS covered or not may not matter much. What does matter is that you keep a universe of CAS covered contracts so you are aware of whether you are approaching full CAS coverage. You reach full CAS coverage when a business unit receives more than $50 million in net CAS covered awards in the immediately preceding cost accounting period. Full CAS coverage means you're subject to 19 standards and must file a disclosure statement, and may be subject to filing cost impact statements if you change a cost accounting practice. However, these concepts are for another day. If you want more information on filing a disclosure statement, we're offering a free 1-hour webinar on March the 11th. See our website for more information on that. If you need help in any of these areas, please contact us. Redstone Government Consultants are a team of the most senior industry veterans and the brightest new talent in the industry. Many have held senior government positions, including leadership roles in BCAA. Our new talents bring significant accounting, contract administration, and human resources experience specific to government contracting. Through our leadership and combined experience, we provide a unique perspective, bringing both government and contractor experience for compliance for our clients.